Hi there! Welcome to Pallet University. So, as you can see, we're in a little bit different of a space. We are now back at my home, at my house. I've all moved out of college. I'm now officially graduated and have an actual degree. At least a bachelor's degree at this point. I've had an associate's for like 3 years now. But now I have a bachelor's, which is basically much more widely accepted as like, hey, you actually know what you're doing. So now the things that I'm telling you about science actually have some kind of merit behind them. But as you can see, my room, it doesn't show up super well on the rest, like on where I have my camera right now, but my room's actually a mess. If you could see the floor, you would be disgusted. Because I'm disgusted. But I'm still kind of messing with some of the lighting stuff. I'm still trying to work out a better camera position, because I don't like how it's like aiming back at the corner. Wrong side. On the corner back there, I would like it to be like sort of facing the wall directly. But I don't want to like move it around too much because I'm trying to find a good way to like raise the camera a little bit, because I would like to be standing while I'm recording these videos, because I think it brings a lot more energy to it, you know? Just for an example, if I were to stand where I have it now, that's not fun. Even if I were to stand back a little bit, I'd have to be like back here. And even still, I'd have to angle it up and then you'd see my fan. And that just doesn't look good. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is mostly just to get something out for you guys, because when you see this, I'll probably put this up in between my normal upload days of Wednesday and either Saturday or Sunday whenever I get around to it. I'll probably put this up Thursday or Friday because I'm actually traveling out of state this weekend. I'm traveling down to Maryland. I live in northern New York, so it's about a 6 to 7 hour drive roughly, and I want to have something up for you guys. So this was just a quick little video that I threw together using some fun things that I found in my room while I was cleaning it out and making room for everything that I have, that I brought back from college. So today's video is going to be about some of the neat little accessories and things that have come out either with Pokemon games. I'm going to be talking about 4. So 4 of these little devices have come out with a Pokemon game, and then the other one's just sort of like a little side thing that I thought was pretty neat, and I want one if I had money. So we're just going to be talking about 4 neat little gadgets that have come with Pokemon over the years. The college store at Pallet University is officially open. We have great merchandise such as t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, tank tops, stickers, and even throw pillows featuring designs like our college font logo and our secondary slogan, "In Oak We Trust," as well as the classic Pallet University insignia. Available in a variety of colors and sizes. Links in the description. If you're older, you might recognize some of these, but if you're sort of on the younger side, you'll probably only recognize one of them. That's the one we're going to start with, which is the Pokeball Plus. This little controller came out with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, back in November. Essentially, other than being a paywall to get Mew, this functions just as a Joy-Con that has limited function. The top button clicks, which is the B button, essentially equivalent. It also, this button clicks in the front, and that functions as the joystick of the Joy-Con. And the shake function also functions. I think that functions as the Y button on the Joy-Con as well. So it is very limited in its technical capabilities, but I personally love this thing. I think it just fits very nicely in the hand, as well as it made it so much easier to throw the Pokeballs while playing Let's Go. I don't know if it just has a better sort of accelerometer or gyroscope, whatever kind of hardware they have in this thing compared to a normal Joy-Con, but it made it much easier to throw the ball accurately. Because I would, on the, a couple of times when I was playing through the game, where this thing died and I wanted to, keep recording, because I did a Let's Play of it on my other channel, Shameless Plugs. Yeah, when I was doing my Let's Play of it, sometimes this died because I would play, I'd record for hours and hours at a time, so I would play with the Joy-Con. And, this is just my personal experience, but this made it so much easier to just aim. While movement was kind of iffy, sometimes it would, mostly in battles, going through menus is where this thing really kind of drops the metaphorical ball. Just because the directional on it, the joystick sometimes just goes one too far or doesn't move when you wanted it to. And so, especially on Wi-Fi battles is where it got most annoying, when it would cause misclicks, or sometimes because the A button is clicking down on it. So sometimes when you click down on it, you move the stick just enough so that it registers it as moving, and then it clicks the button and you click the wrong move, which obviously is not ideal. But overall, I think this was a great piece of technology that came with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, if you're willing to pay an extra, I think it was $30 if you bought it as the bundle, but you can buy it separately for $50. So it was $40 extra if you bought it as the bundle, but it's you can buy it off the Pokemon website for $50. I'm only going to talk about this very briefly, but I was not happy, to put it mildly, at the time, when they announced that this was going to be how you would get Mew. I planned on getting it regardless, but being that this is the only way to get Mew, I would not buy one used. I'm looking at them on eBay right now, and you can get them on the Pokemon website for, I think it's $49.99. But you can get them on eBay. There's one that says brand new. Whether it still contains Mew or not, I don't know. It says you can get it for $41.79, so you can save like $5-6. Honestly, I wouldn't take the chance. I personally would just buy one new off the Pokemon website. Unfortunately though, this is the only one of the things on this little sort of mini list that you can buy brand new. The rest you will have to buy secondhand off of eBay or somewhere else like that. So, going from the newest of the 4 items that we're talking about to the oldest, which is simply called Pokemon Pikachu, or the Japanese version is called Pocket Pikachu. I really wish that I had one of these, and I might have to buy one on eBay, but as I'm going to talk about in a little bit, that's not always ideal. So there were 2 versions of this. There was the Pocket Pikachu, and then the Pocket Pikachu 2 GS, which came out with Gold and Silver. This one is the one thing on this list that didn't sort of come bundled with the game. This was sort of like a separate thing. Essentially, it's just a Tamagotchi Pikachu. There's fun little mini games that you can play on it. Just looking at its, Wikipedia page really quick. Top-notch source, I know. Its description says, Pokemon Pikachu, also known as Pocket Pikachu in Japan, is a series of portable Pokemon digital pets, similar to Tamagotchi, featuring the famous yellow electric-type Pokemon Pikachu. Released on March 27th, 1998 in Japan, November 2nd, 1998 in North America, it was intended as an exercise toy, and mentioned by Guinness World Records as the most popular exercise toy of its time. Essentially, this was sort of a cross between a Tamagotchi and a pedometer, which might sound a little familiar, which we'll get to in just a couple minutes. But basically it was just a sort of like egg-shaped little device. It had basically the same inputs as a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color, where it had a D-pad on the left and an A-B button on the right, and you could play with your Pikachu. And it was basically, as you walked, it accumulated watts, which you could use through infrared. You could send those to your game, mostly Gold, Silver, and Crystal on the Game Boy Color, because I don't believe the original Game Boy had an infrared port. I might be wrong on that, but I don't think it did. But you could basically trade the watts that you accumulated by walking to unlock items through Mystery Gift in your Generation 2 game. You can find these relatively easily on eBay if you're a little patient and willing to look for them. They are a little pricey. Just this first one that came up looks like it's in really good condition. It's $55 on eBay. Let's see, and then so that's the original one. The second one, let me make sure that it's legit, because it does not look like it. It looks sort of like a knockoff, unless the Japanese and US versions looked different, but I don't think that they did. I don't see a second generation one on here at all. If this one is actually legit, it is $40. So you're looking at spending at least, I'm sure you could find one a little cheaper. Probably I'd say $30 minimum is what you could probably find one for. But it's a neat little piece of Pokemon history that I would like to get eventually. We'll see though. We'll see about that one. Next up, we have what is essentially the same thing, but better, is the Pokewalker. Now, if you're sort of on the younger side, you might not remember this. This was something that came with, completely free, with Heart Gold or Soul Silver, the remakes of Generation 2 for the Nintendo DS. Basically, this functioned exactly like I just talked about with the Pocket Pikachu, but you could transfer any Pokemon onto here. And I actually found this just the other day when I was cleaning out stuff in my room, putting away all my college stuff. I found this in like a drawer or something. I just swapped out the little coin battery on the inside, and my Ludicolo from whatever save file it was years ago is still just chilling on here. And I looked at it, and I've got 1,466 watts to transfer back to my Soul Silver game. You can do all sorts of things. You can find new Pokemon down here. You can spend watts to try to find new Pokemon that you can try and catch. You can look for items that you can spend 3 watts on to basically just like, I think it shows like 10 different little prize boxes, and you have 3 picks to pick whichever one the present is in, the item is in, and then you get your item. And when you transfer back your Pokemon, you can transfer back items and any caught Pokemon as well as all of the watts that you've accumulated. So it's really just such a cool little thing that I wish Pokemon would have kept doing. Because something like this with even like X and Y, if they did it with like every other gen, that would have been so cool. Because like, there's no reason this couldn't have worked with Generation 5. If it worked in a Generation 4 game, there's no reason that they couldn't have added that into the Black and White and Black and White 2. There's no reason for that. So I think this was just one of the coolest things that Pokemon's ever done. And if you happen to have, a copy of Heart Gold, Soul Silver, number one, count yourself lucky, because those are some of the most sought-after Pokemon games, and still to this day, some of the most expensive Pokemon games to buy. I'm pretty sure they cost more to buy used than like X and Y do. But if you happen to have a copy already, you can find a Pokewalker relatively cheaply on eBay. There's one right here that's used. Obviously, you're not going to find any new. You can find one here used for 20 bucks. That's not too bad at all. I mean, there are some people that are charging, 25, 35, but, paying 20 bucks for something like this, assuming that you have Heart Gold or Soul Silver with you, and I believe you could use a 3DS to interact with this, but I don't know that for sure. But assuming you have all that, this is a fun little piece to pick up. I love this thing. I carried this thing around with me to school every single day. I was on my high school's golf team, so that's probably where most of these watts came from, is I would just put it in my pocket during, our golf practices when we're walking, probably 2 to 3 miles per practice, and that's where I got all of my watts from. Lastly is something that I used to have, but I have no idea where it is. I'm gonna double check that, actually. Unfortunately, no, I don't still have it. But I want to say that it's got to be in this room somewhere, because it really seems like something that I wouldn't have just thrown away. Although, as a kid, I did sell a lot of my old games, so maybe I did. Anyway, this little device is the Game Boy Advance wireless adapter. Basically, up until this was released, if you wanted to trade or battle with your friends with a Game Boy Advance or a Game Boy Advance SP, you needed a link cable. These were always super annoying. Sometimes they would just stop working while you were using them, which was obviously not ideal. And these little things came with any, package of Fire Red or Leaf Green that I ever saw as a kid. Any of my friends that bought Fire Red or Leaf Green also had this, so I'm assuming that in North America at least, every package of Fire Red or Leaf Green came with this. Basically, it functioned just as a wireless link cable, something that nowadays we take for granted, but like at the time, that was huge, because this was the first handheld device, I guess, that you could just plug right into your Game Boy Advance or your Game Boy Advance SP and let you play with your friends. And not every game supported this. Just looking at the Wikipedia page, there's maybe 24 games here. But they were, really, I mean, if you had one of these, you played Pokemon anyway, because I believe that was the only way to get it. Unfortunately, Ruby and Sapphire were not compatible compatible with this. It was only Emerald, Fire Red, and Leaf Green, and not any older games. So personally, for me as a kid, this little device was so instrumental because it allowed me to battle with my friends reliably. You know, before we had things like, before we all got DSs essentially. So this was something that I remember very, very fondly, and could reasonably buy again. Once again, this device is rather old. It came out with Fire Red and Leaf Green, which I think came out in like 2004? 2005? 2004. But just looking on eBay, you can find them for under $10. You know, before pre-shipping, of course. But so for less than $15, you can buy one of these pretty easily. I mean, it's not like they're in super high demand. I might pick one up eventually, just to say that I have it, assuming that I don't find the one that I'm sure is in this room somewhere. Just to say that I have it, just for that big nostalgia piece, which is basically all the PokeWalker is for, too. So hopefully you guys appreciate some of this little tiny bit of Pokemon history that isn't really about the games themselves as much as is sort of the peripherals that came with them. As well as I hope you sort of forgive me for this being a major filler episode. But I'm, like I said, I'm out of state this weekend, as well as next weekend, as well as not the weekend after that, but the weekend after that. So 3 of the 4 next weekends, I'm at least out of town. One of them I'm still in New York, but the other 2 I'm out of state. So content might be hit or miss on the channel for the next month, but I'll try and do some bulk recording when I can, because I'm also starting my job, my summer job. Gotta make that money, guys. So yeah, next time you see me, it'll probably be a little bit different of a setup. Once I try to MacGyver some kind of way to get my camera elevated a little bit. But that's my problem, not you guys' problem. So I'm going to be out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching. Let me know which of these 4 devices you know was your personal favorite. If you pick any of these up on eBay, I'll put links down below to links to where you can buy any of these things on eBay. If you end up picking them up, tweet me pictures, or if you have any of these, also tweet me pictures. I love interacting with you guys in any kind of way like that. And let me know which one you think is your favorite, and which ones you remember coming out. I remember 3 out of the 4 of these. I don't remember the Pocket Pikachu. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to follow us on Twitter as well at Pallet_U to keep up on all sorts of scientific things. And as always, there's a time and place for everything.